Hello and welcome to Schwa Effortless Learning. In the last session, we learned about prepositions and its different kinds. Also, we discussed the prepositions of position and place at length. We discussed different prepositions which talk about space and position, and also we tried to understand these with the help of some examples. So today, continuing the same preposition trail, we are going to talk about prepositions of time and prepositions of direction. So let's start. Now let's talk about preposition of time. Preposition of time, as the name suggests, it talks about the time. It sits before a noun or a pronoun, and it indicates the time of action, as well as it talks about how that time of action affects all the other parts of the sentence. So let's discuss some very common prepositions of time. After, before. So after means the time following the completion of action, and before the time preceding the action. So let's take after. So very common example in Indian grammar scenario. I reached the station after the train left. Not only in an Indian grammar situation, in hundreds of movies we have watched that the train has left, and the heroine is just still running on the platform that catch the train. It's like there is a very famous DDLG scene after that scene on this particular concept. So I reached the station after the train left. But in my personal life, I always reach the station much before the train leaves. Like much before, at least 1 hour before the train is scheduled to leave. So before and after. Then is around. It's like, tentative time. There is nothing fixed, but around that time. Like for example, I'll meet you around 8. So it doesn't need to be exactly at 8. I can meet you at 5 minutes before 8, or around 10 minutes after 8, 15 minutes after 8. So it's around the time. So around 8. I'll meet you around 8. At. Well, at talks about placement, position. Also, it talks about the time. When we use at, we can denote both specific and non-specific. Okay, when we talk about something very specific time and we use at, we are obviously being specific, but we can also be very vague about time using at. For example, I'll meet you at 5 p.m. So there it's very specific. There is no chance of doing any drama. But if I say, I have some time at present, I can go with you. So here at present, I'm not making sure what is the time. I'm not giving you any time frame. I can have time. I can be available for your need for 5 minutes or 1 hour or 5 hours. I haven't made it specific, right? So in that way, we can be very specific and as well as very vague using at. Okay, so we did before and after. Between. Cupboard, lamp, chair, in between. But we can also use between to indicate time. So if we have to one starting point and one ending point, and the time that we are talking about is in between, then we use between. So I'll meet you between 5 and 6. So I can meet you anytime between 5 and 6. So starting from 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock, the time is blocked for me. I'll meet you between 5 and 6. Then by. By, when it talks about some spatial relation, then it indicates next to. And by, when it talks about timing, it talks about a deadline. And in our lives, deadline is a very important word. So deadline is till that point of time, like nothing beyond that time. So if I say the assignments should reach me by midnight. So after 12 o'clock in the night, I'll not accept any more assignments. So assignments should reach by midnight. So midnight is our deadline. So by midnight is the deadline. That is how we can use by to indicate time. Then we have during. During means duration of a complete action, like complete a duration. So if I say I went to visit my grandmother during the weekend, so that means during Saturdays and Sundays I went to meet my grandmother. And also for it talks about how long an action has been going on. So with for we also use since. So and both are used in the similar fashion, to indicate about the duration, like how long an action has been going on. I have been waiting for you for 2 hours, and I have been waiting for you since 5 o'clock. So here you can see that when I use for 2 hours, it means almost for 2 hours. I'm not counting 120 minutes. But if I say I have been waiting for you since 5 o'clock, so that means I'm talking about a particular time my waiting started, right? So when we have a very particular, very specific time, we use since. And when we want to be a little considerate about the time, we can use for. But with since, we need to be very, very particular, but for, we can have a little leeway. So from and to. So from means the time of beginning of an action, and to is the time of ending an action. Okay, the program will start at 8 p.m. And it will end at 10 p.m. We can say the program will go on from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that is how from and to can be used to indicate time. Then in. We know in means inside when it talks about a spatial position or placement. But in also can talk about time. Like for example, it can talk about a period of time or a part of a day or some future time. For example, we can say that modern innovations such as electricity was discovered in the 19th century, and it was raining in the morning. So for 19th century, it's the period of time in the morning, it is part of the day, and in future I hope to go to Italy. So of course, to talk about future, we can use in. So I'm sitting on the chair, but when I want to talk about a particular day or a particular date, I also can use on. For example, I was born on 8th of April. No, I'm not going to tell which year, in which year. On 8th April in XYZ year. So that is how we can use in and on to talk about time, to talk about particular days and dates. I'm leaving for Hyderabad on Wednesday. So here on Wednesday is a particular day. So I'm leaving for Hyderabad on Wednesday. Okay, now last but not the least, until. Until means the continuation of an action, and it will go on till a particular period of time, or it will go on, or it went on, or it goes on till a particular period of time. An action starts and it continues till a particular period of time. So you should watch my videos until you are thorough with your English grammar. Now, preposition of direction. So by now we are clear about how prepositions can talk about placement or particular. By now we are clear about how prepositions can talk about particular places or placements, and also about time. Now let's see how prepositions can help us to understand the direction of action. So let's start with prepositions of direction. First is across. So in across, we know that from point A to point B. So that means it went like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, in any way. So from point 1 to point B. This is the direction. So it denotes movement from one point to another, right? From one point towards another point on a surface. So the chicken ran across the road. Well, don't ask me what happened to the chicken, because I don't know. The chicken ran across the road. Against means movement in the opposite direction. So let's imagine a big truck is coming and I'm running in this direction. So I'm running against the truck. Never advisable. Never advisable. No, don't do that. But this is only for example. So I'm running against the motion of the truck. Or if I'm very, very skilled in swimming, which I really don't know, so I can swim against the tide distantly. But for grammar's sake, I can swim against the tide. Then around. Around talks about the timing. It talks about, like, around this time and all. But when it is talking about direction, it means in a circular movement or a movement of encompassment. So I can also say we went around the park 5 times. I run around the park 5 times in the morning. I don't do it, but I run around the park for five times in the morning. Okay. At means like something very target, the direction of a target. So my videos are directed at the viewers who really want to learn English grammar. Now, by denotes the means of movement or transportation. For example, I came to the office by bus. He was walking. No, he was not walking. It's usually by we use for vehicles. I came by bus, I came by train, I came by an aeroplane. No, I came in an aeroplane. Well, I flew an aeroplane. I never flew an aeroplane. I flew in an aeroplane. Okay, because I sat inside an aeroplane and the aeroplane encompassed me and it was flying in the sky. So yes, I came by bus, I came by train, I came by car. Okay, so Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. So upwards, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack fell down and broke his crown. So they went up and they fell down. So that is how upward motion and downward motion are with up and down. Similarly with from and to. So I have a flight to catch, so I need to start from home early to reach the airport in time. And when I'm almost reaching the airport, yeah, I have reached the airport. So that is my from. And to, it is I'm going to the airport, of course. My movement started from home to, and it is towards the airport, to the airport. There is from and to. Into. Into indicates the movement inside something. So if I say, I love swimming, and so I just jumped into the pool. So I just jumped inside the pool. So here we, to indicate that action where the movement is inside something, we can use into. Then off, OFF. Okay, off, it means away from something, away from some place. It's embarrassing, but I fall off the bed quite frequently. Yeah, I toss and turn a lot in sleep, so I fall off the bed quite frequently. Onto means it indicates a movement to a place on something or somebody. So yesterday I was watching a Marvel movie, and there the superhero jumped in onto a car. So jumped onto a car from the roof of a building onto the car. So from there to there, it's a kind of a downward movement. So jumped onto the car, downward movement onto something. Over. Over talks about a movement that is towards the other side of an uneven or a higher surface. So the cat jumped over the wall. I jumped over the wall. Well, I can do anything. So I jumped over the wall. So here, I jumped over the wall. Wall is a higher place, and it's sort of like uneven. Like I was down and then over. So I jumped over the wall. Like, so to indicate this type of movement, we can use over. Also through. Through means it usually talks about a three-dimensional space, such as a room or a building, and a closed thing. So she walked through the room without talking to anyone. So let's imagine a party, and I'm wearing a gorgeous dress, and I enter the party and everyone is looking at me, and I just ignore everyone and don't talk to anyone, and I just walk through the room and meet only the host. So in that case, we can use through. Well, you can use through for a lot more situations, but you get the idea why we use through. Then to. To talks about destination, from and to. I'm going to school. So these are some very common prepositions that we use in our everyday lives. Do write in the comments what are your favorite prepositions and how do you use them, and also what are the other topics that we can take up in further lessons. Till then, take care. Comment, like, share and subscribe. Bye.